This is the Daily Drop
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
with Addy and Shrimp Zoo. From Daddy and Addy talking geopolitics, science, and anything and everything under the sun. Every weekday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And now, here's your hosts, Shrimp Zoo and Addy.
What is up, people? Addy Ads here, Adakin Skywalker, YouTube's chosen one. Lot to talk about today, this evening. It is the 3rd of September, Thursday, 2020. Once again, we are under 70 days until the election. A lot going on. I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Mr. Shrimp Zoo himself. Shrimp, how are you doing this evening, brother?
Okay, there we go. What's going on?
Lots to go on. Lots going on right now, man. We got anti-government protests in Thailand and Bulgaria, but I think we probably should talk about this shooting, or excuse me, this death in police custody in Rochester, over in your state. I've seen the video. What are your thoughts, Mr. Shrimpsu? I know you said you considered going over to Rochester. Any updates on that?
So Rochester is basically like my city because I live in between Rochester and Buffalo. They're about an equal drive. So I'm in both Rochester and Buffalo probably equally. Maybe I'm in Rochester more than Buffalo. Rochester is way more grimy, way more gritty than Buffalo. Like, they have a huge drug trade in Rochester that Buffalo doesn't have. They have a lot of really bad neighborhoods. When there was all the looting and rioting before, Rochester was way more turned up for all that rioting and looting. If you look on YouTube videos and stuff, and I had it in some of my videos, but Rochester is going to get turned up for this, I think. The video itself looks kind of similar to George Floyd, but none of these are ever crystal clear.
Yeah.
So he was spitting at the cops, so they really bad, but it's understandable because he had COVID. So the video looks bad, though. I mean, it looks bad to the police. They've been suspended.
Yeah, 7
The guy was
officers
crazy, though. He wasn't armed.
suspended.
I don't.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like you said, he wasn't armed, and he wasn't resisting either that I could see. I mean, he didn't look like he was resisting in any way. And I did see they put the spit hood on him. And once again, it looks like he had some sort of drug in his system, but he died, like, I think it was a week later in hospital after being
He had
taken into custody.
He had PCP in his system, I guess. So that they're saying that contributed to his death too.
Yeah, I'm sure all the bootleggers will blame that.
In a way, it doesn't really matter. Like, if the police are responsible or not, it pretty much just matters that there's going to be probably looting and fires and protesting and civil unrest. There's going to be a lot of this is not going to be the last black guy that's killed by a white cop, or it's probably not really going to matter what color the cop is. If he's white, it just looks worse. But as long as it's a black person being killed by the police, it's going to look really bad, and it seems like it's always going to cause rioting. Even there was a gunman that committed suicide before, and that caused rioting. So
Gunman, what was the case there?
Police were chasing a gunman, and they had him cornered. I think it was in DC, and they had him cornered, and he shot himself, and then that caused like rioting. It was in DC or Chicago.
I was driving earlier this week, Shrimpsu, and it was early in the morning. It was like 6 a.m. And I heard on the radio, I didn't actually know about this case. Also in Kenosha, it was a white man killed by Kenosha police, Kenosha PD. His name was Michael E. Bell Jr. His father has the same name, Michael Bell. And I'm trying to get in touch with Michael Bell Sr. about it. But dude, this is wow. This is you can't get much more blatant than this particular case of Michael E. Bell, white
and so
male.
he's white, right?
Yeah, dude, it was just a blatant execution. They actually reenacted it, just completely self-incriminating evidence by the Kenosha Police Department. And it's just a wild story. One of the police officers involved in the incident ended up killing himself years later. And
Jeez.
you had basically two officers holding him down. I think they had him in handcuffs too. And this third officer comes up and just right to the dome, just executes him. Just is literally an execution. And they tried lying about it. They, of course, investigated themselves. Surprise, surprise, found no wrongdoing. And his father now, he hasn't, I found his YouTube, but he hasn't posted in years now. And I found his website. I called him earlier today. I do want to get in touch with him. I would love to talk to him because I think it's an important case because not only did it not happen during the height of the golden age of social media, which we're now in, but it's a white guy, it's a white male. And that's something that a lot of bootlickers don't understand is they try to racialize it. I think both sides do. They try to racialize this, but you see white people being abused by police as well, as well as black people, as well as brown people. So, and this is blatant. People can check out the video. I'll try to remember to tag it in the to pin it in a comment. And to me, it looks like blatant execution. People can judge for themselves, of course. There's a reenactment of the video by the Kenosha Police Department. So it's the people who literally did it that reenacted it, and you can see for yourself on that. But I think it's an important case to talk about because it's certainly one I didn't know about until I just heard it by happenstance on the radio early in the morning earlier this week.
Yeah, there's probably no body cams back then in 2004.
Correct. It was just dash cam footage. And they also had two very key eyewitnesses as well, who were just neighbors who heard the commotion.
Yeah, it's not always black people, but it doesn't get media attention when it's a white guy. I'm guessing even if it's a Chinese or Latino, or that probably won't really get much attention either, I don't think.
Not as much. I think if it was maybe brown a little bit more, but yeah, not as much if it's a black male, just because it's just not as juicy, not as salacious for the leftist media, right? And they are trying to, I think, harvest the black vote for Mr. Biden. Would you say?
Yeah, I'm seeing new polls that are at least like on Fox and stuff, and conservatives are saying that they're getting more of the black vote. I'm not really sure if that's true or not.
But it's impossible. Do you believe any of the polls? I don't trust any of them, man.
Not really. I've never been polled before.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody's asked me who I'm voting for.
I doubt Trump gets a large percentage of the black vote, though. I mean, if you're black in America, how would you not be Black Lives Matter? I'm not like some huge Black Lives Matter supporter. I'm not protesting for Black Lives Matter, but if
there
you're
are black people who are not supportive of BLM, the movement, I would say, or no, the political organization, I would say.
Yeah, overall, I think most black people are, but I think they're starting to lose people because it's kind of getting out of hand now.
Yeah. Let's pivot a little bit. We got, as I said, protests in Bulgaria, in the capital of Sofia, as well as Thailand. The biggest anti-government protests in Thailand in 6 years. And Thailand has I can't remember the exact law, but they have a law that forbids any criticism of the monarchy there, the royals. So that is thanks everybody for tuning in. Kay, Runeflinger, Debbie. I just saw this. My light was covering up my comment section, so I couldn't see the notifications. Carrie, how's it going? So the so biggest anti-government protest in 6 years over in Thailand, and what started this was the arrest of two activists or journalists. One of them named Anand Nampa, which the Thai populace is deeming to be a violation of their rights. And over in Bulgaria as well. Again, I don't know too many details on what particularly started that, but we're seeing this just country after country, man. We got the Japanese PM Shinzo Abe stepping down. Looks like his lieutenant is going to be the front runner over there. So
Bulgaria is basically the same situation as America. It's thousands of people on the left throwing like firecrackers and rocks at the police and wanting the center right government to resign. So same situation basically as America. What's happening in Bulgaria?
We got a question here from one of my loyal subscribers. His name is Kay. If you want to answer it, Shrimps, for you. Why does he wear a mask in his house? Does he wear it everywhere, and does he sleep in it too?
That comes up probably every video.
Yeah.
I just wear him for the. I wear him for the videos.
Yeah, it's part of his online persona.
Yeah, I don't care if people wear masks. It's up to them. I'm not wearing them when I'm not doing the videos, and
yeah, I didn't mention this yesterday when we talked, Shrimp, but I also don't really care either way. I used to judge people for it, but that was back in March. Now it's neither here nor there to me if people wear them or not. At my local grocery store that I go to, Woodman's, which is boss, super awesome prices over at Woodman's. I would say 95% of people that I see in there are wearing masks. I haven't the past couple times, but I just washed them, so my cloth masks. So yeah, sometimes I wear them, sometimes I don't. Yeah, again, I think it's up to people's liberty to choose to wear them or not. But this is another thing I saw. Thank you, Carol. Off the coast, Japanese, a ship 6,000 cattle and 43 people sunk in a typhoon, very powerful typhoon. They actually found a lone Filipino sailor in the dark Pacific waters after about a half a day of being man at sea.
Was he alive?
He was alive. He was in stable condition. He was only there about half a day. Let's pray they find the other sailors, because I could not imagine a much more lonely death than swimming to exhaustion in the Pacific. That would be terrible. But let's hope they find them there. And the cattle as well. Probably not much to do about our bovine friends.
Can cows swim?
Can cows swim? I actually don't know that, Shrimp. Maybe I should, being from Wisconsin, since we have so many cattle here. But yeah, one thing I want to mention too is go ahead, Shrimp. I cut you off there.
I guess they can. I just Googled it. It says they're strong swimmers.
Okay, I know they can jump fences, which they usually don't, just because they don't like to do it. But if they need to, they will jump a fence, which is quite something to see. A 1-ton animal jumping a fence. But I just read about this. A woman who survived the Tulsa race massacre, one of the couple survivors in 1921, has I guess put a claim against the government there in Oklahoma, in Tulsa. And what happened there was basically a black man was arrested on suspicion of rape against a woman. They were both teenagers, really. It was a 19-year-old male, 17-year-old white female. And there were rumors that the black man was going to be lynched. Excuse me. And a group of black men went to the jail to try to prevent this. The jail officials and marshals assured them they had it under control. Something set off a firefight there. 12 whites were killed. 2 blacks were killed in the chaos after which whites basically raised, it was called Black Wall Street at the time. It's the most affluent part of America, pretty much razed it to the ground. And nobody who suffered in that particular massacre ever got compensated. There's something like $34 million in today's money in damages. So very interesting to see that that survivor, she was a little girl at the time, making a claim against the government there in Tulsa.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're not that far from that happening again, except just replace white and black with Democrat and Republican.
Yeah, it's I was talking to a dude today. I was like, so when's the Civil War gonna pop off? And he's like, well, I think it already has.
Yeah, I just don't think it will look the same as the first Civil War.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in Lebanon, the president will not resign, but the rest of the government has resigned as a result of the Beirut explosion, including the prime minister, Hassan Diab, who only took power just in December. So the Lebanese populace has seen some wins over there with their protests. Again, why the president won't resign, I don't really know. And I actually don't know how their system works.
I kind of know a little bit. They have a coalition between Sunni Shia and Maronite Christians. So they have to have, like, the president has to be, I believe, Sunni, prime minister, I think Shia. I might have that reversed. And then, like, a Christian has to be, like, some other position, I forget. But so they have a balancing act between the three major religions. And then they also have Hezbollah is, like, de facto part of the government and armed forces. So it's kind of complicated, but I mean, that's kind of what's happening in America. So
can you expand on that? Sure.
Since the Civil War in Lebanon, they've never really fully recovered. The Civil War really never ended. They still have gun battles all the times. Just the political divide causes violence there. Same as America. None of their political factions can agree. They're too divided.
Okay, that's what you mean by same as America.
Yeah, and just the way that their civil war is happening, where it's just one neighborhood in a city might be just like having random gun battles every now and then, and you can't walk down the street. You have to, like, go under tarps in alleys that are, like, hidden so you don't get hit by a sniper on your way to the market. Things like that.
Or
Street assassinations like Portland.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw this, similar to Ted Wheeler and the San Jose mayor in St. Louis coming under fire. Her and her husband have had to relocate to a nearby apartment due to protests outside their house over in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah, they should be moving in houses, not apartment buildings.
Yeah, putting the other people at risk.
So we're at the point where mayors' houses or apartment buildings are attempted to be burned down or vandalized. They're having to relocate because it's not safe, because mobs are showing up to their house, lynch mobs. I wouldn't call it a mob, but a bunch of people showed up at Pelosi's house today in San Francisco and hung up like hair dryers on her tree outside.
Good riddance.
It's not like they had a mob almost attacked Rand Paul. It's not really safe for politicians on either side anymore. I think we're entering pretty dangerous territory. Cuomo threatened the president, said he better bring an army if he wants to walk in New York again.
Yeah, I saw that. Talk about the pot calling the kettle black over there with the butcher of New York, as some people are calling him, somewhat tongue in cheek.
It's probably true, though. You know how much security Trump would need to walk down the street in New York City? Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, I was listening to George talk, and he was saying that when he comes, he just has he's got the Humvees with the machine guns going, and they drive like right next to the sidewalk and kind of come at you to try to intimidate you with their gear and their transport, the military transport, really.
Yeah.
But we got tech stocks dropping. I don't know if you saw that, Shrimp. I know you got Amazon.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
following the stock market every day pretty closely. I think the market's it's 50-50. It crashes tomorrow.
Really? You
Amazon,
think so?
everything crashed today, really. I'm shorting on the market, which means I'm betting for the market to crash right now. A lot of
My
people are
man.
against a lot of people are against that, but why I can invest in Amazon or the S&P 500 when it's crashing. So, yeah, I think the market's crashing. I don't know how serious it is, but some
Are
people
you
think
selling your other ones? I don't know what the opposite of a short is called, but are you selling those?
so I mostly day trade, so I'm not keeping positions overnight. Like my sister keeps positions overnight and invests long term, and she lost 22,000 today.
Jesus.
Um, I told her to sell them all off, but nobody listens to me. Yeah, the market might crash tomorrow even further. So
Yeah, it looks like it's reached its apex here with this kind of.
it
I don't
makes
even
no
know
it
what it
just
would.
makes no sense. Everyone thought it was just going to recover a V-shaped recovery and would just instantly recover, and that's it. But I mean, Amazon has went up like $1,000 in the last like 3 weeks. It's the stock market has soared. So
Yeah, what's kind of been artificially inflated though, because of the mom and pop shops being prevented from making money. All the money has been going to, the giants, right? The Big Ten or whatever we want to call them.
yeah, the federal government injects money into the market every time it crashes, or they buy a bunch of junk bonds or ETFs. There's speculations they're even buying stocks directly.
Yeah, I saw a metaphor for it. It was like a monopoly. When you run out of money, you just like take a piece of paper and write, and you make more money.
Yeah, I mean, that's the danger. If you keep inflating this, like artificially, inflation can go up where you can have $1 million turn into $10 overnight. So
Yeah, that's what I fear will happen. I feel like it's inevitable, isn't it? At some point.
I feel like if the stock market's not corrected and it just continues to soar up at unimaginable levels while everyone is sick and unemployed and the real economy is dead, then yeah, we could have inflation.
Got a question here from Carol Shrimp for you. I definitely wouldn't be able to answer this. What do you think of investing in Tesla?
If you invested in Tesla 5 days ago and then you still had it right now, you would have lost like 20% of your money. You'd be down a lot. You can invest in Tesla. Like last week I was trading Tesla and stuff, and it's went up a nice little bit until right after it split. Long term, you could invest in Tesla, but it might go. I'm not sure what it is now, $420 or something. Last time I looked, it might go down to 220 or 320. Tesla is a really risky stock.
Yeah, it's quite volatile, isn't it? Just the nature of the technology, really.
And
And
yeah, unless you're day trading, which is holding on to a stock for a fraction of a second to minutes, maybe an hour or something like that, or maybe a few hours. Unless you're doing that, I would not recommend investing in the stock market in the middle of a pandemic and a global recession.
yeah,
Unless,
that's what Sean was saying too. He's saying, do not, unless you're an expert, don't be
yep,
investing right now. It's just
I
not a
would
good idea.
I would heavily agree. I'm gonna invest. What I do is I borrow like $1 million every day from the bank, and then I trade it, and then after I sell everything off, they get their money back and they take their cut, and then I keep my cut. That's usually
Okay.
what I. But
So
I'm
you
not
borrow
hold.
on credit?
Yeah, it's called margin.
Okay.
If
Okay.
people want to invest, I would say buy gold or silver.
Yeah, I think so too. And what do you use? You use Charles Schwab or
I use Thinkorswim, TD
Thinkorswim? Okay.
Ameritrade.
Yeah,
That's I
all
think it's
great
pretty good.
civilizations have risen and fallen. Are we any different? It's funny. I was speaking to someone earlier in this pandemic, and they made the joke that they wished. Excuse me, that's incorrect English. he wished that we would have partied a little harder like the Romans did, which is kind of true because like we just had this period of kind of unprecedented peace and booming rising economy before this pandemic, right? And now we're seeing it all coming down at once. So
maybe I've heard some people say that this really started during like 2008 and like when they had the whole 1% movement and all that, and, like defund Wall Street and like I've heard people say this is just continuation of that.
Related note, the guy who coined the phrase "we are the 99% just passed away. I think he was an author of some sort, but I read that too.
That's about when Black Lives Matter started, right? At about that time.
I actually don't know when the genesis of BLM was, but we have another question from Chris, one of my subscribers from the United Kingdom. Do you think Britain will go bankrupt?
I'll let you answer that because I really have no idea.
Yeah, I couldn't say either. I just know that I would defer to the experts here and say that you probably want to, if you don't have a lot of experience investing, it's probably not a good idea to do so unless, of course, like Shrimp said, you're going for some extremely stable, maybe not stable right now, but lower risk like gold or silver.
Yeah.
But we got a typhoon in South Korea, Typhoon Maysak, at least one killed there. So another update as far as Mother Nature's wrath. She continues to unleash her wrath on humanity / the world. This time via a typhoon in South Korea, which has been seen a lot of property damage because of that.
Yeah, so, I heard in Louisiana they might not get power back for like a month or two. Some people
because of the flooding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Seemed pretty extreme.
That is crazy. Louisiana, man. Yeah, they definitely have their share of run-ins with Mother Nature due to their proximity to the ocean and just where they're located geographically. But that's I got about 3 minutes left here, Shrimp. That's kind of all I had on my rap sheet. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to bring up.
I'll bring up real quick, I guess, Daniel Prude. He was
let's go back to him for sure.
He got killed in like March, but the video just came out this week of him being killed. Basically, it's pretty similar to George Floyd. Probably not quite as severe, but it looks pretty bad. It's probably a little bit more controversial. They put a bag over his head because he said he had COVID and was spitting at the police. He was 100% naked, and it was like snowing in the streets in Rochester. They put a bag on his head, handcuffed him. He was on PCP, and they just pushed his face in the ground until he like kind of passed out with the bag on his head. I understand the bag on his head because he said he had COVID. The mayor said that she fired 7 cops, and she said the like chief of police lied to her about the incident. And she said the police union is probably going to sue because she didn't fire them, but she suspended them with pay. And she said the police union is going to probably sue the city now. Okay. It could be the next George Floyd. They've arrested a bunch of people in Rochester. There's protesting again. It might be bad. There's protesting in the suburbs all around Buffalo and Rochester. Now it's picking back up. It might get as bad as it was a few months ago when looting started.
Are you going to get your boots on the ground over there, Shrimp?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go there tomorrow if it gets bad. I don't think it will get bad tonight, but I think it will get bad over the weekend if it does, because that's usually how Black Lives Matter and Antifa works, is they cause chaos usually the weekends at night.
Couple more financial questions here, Shrimp. This one from my dude Pete. He says, we kind of glossed over it, but oh yeah, shout out to Carol too on Facebook. For some reason, StreamYard doesn't route the comments there, so I have to look at them manually. But gold or silver is good right now, right? Or only in more volatile times? Question mark.
Gold and silver is always good. Historically, it just goes up. It's just hard to find gold and silver right now because you're gonna if you buy $2,000 of gold, it's gonna probably cost you 2,500 or 2,200 or something like that. It's called spot price. Basically means they don't give it to you for what it costs right now. You're gonna have to pay a premium. So as soon as you buy,
it's in such high demand right now.
yeah, because there's a shortage. So if you buy $2,000 of gold, you're gonna pay $2,000 plus a few $100 extra. So you're gonna lose money automatically. That's the conundrum.
Okay.
You'll instantly lose money, but it probably will continue to go up.
Oh,
I would
okay.
I would just buy gold or silver on the next dip. It's hard to find now though. It's kind of too late. If you could find it, do it if you want. But
yeah, people are kind of holding on to that right now for sure. And another question from Carol Shrimp. I don't know if you can speak on this. How can I protect my 401k during this time?
you kind of really can't because usually your 401k you can't really control individual ETFs. You can't like buy Tesla or Amazon or like Abbott Labs or something like that. You can only buy a package of like thousands of stocks put together in a mutual fund or ETF, whatever it is. If you can, I would get rid of your 401k or sometimes you can like freeze it where you have just the money go into the account, but it's not invested. Sometimes you can sell everything off on your 401k and just keep the cash in the account. I would not recommend anyone who's not a day trader to be long-term investing. It's like talking about investing during the Great Depression or during the Spanish flu.
Okay. And then a follow-up from Carol. She says, I know that's a stupid question, but does gold and silver jewelry count?
It really doesn't count because $1,000 ring is probably like $10 of gold. It doesn't really count. You're paying for the labor and the craftsmanship. You're not paying for the gold by the weight. But you can go to gold and silver stores and buy scrap silver, which might be like old broken jewelry or whatever. But jewelry is not usually a good investment.
Okay. Awesome. We're at 32 minutes here, Shrimp. So great show today. Very action-packed and no internet hiccups, which is great as well.
Hit the like and subscribe button, everybody.
Definitely. Please do, guys. Hit that like, subscribe. We're talking every day we can. I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. for a journalist charrette from the 9th to the 16th. But I'm still going to link up with Shrimp. We're going to find some time during my days and during Shrimp's schedule, too, to chat as well. So, yeah, just stay tuned, guys. And we're going to keep doing this every single day that we can. Saturdays, too. We didn't go last Saturday. And then earlier this week, I just had some unforeseen schedule hiccups that, again, I didn't see coming. So that's why we couldn't chat. But Shrimp took the helm in my absence as well. So shout out to Shrimp for doing that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Stay frosty, hit like, hit subscribe, go over to Shrimp's channel and subscribe as well. And we will see you all tomorrow. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers, and until next time.
Thanks for watching.